Chapter 91. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In Shuyans, there was a deserted land like an isolated island. Su Yanan and the other 4 captains of the Demon Suppression Division were lying on the ground in all directions. All of them were seriously injured and barely breathing. The wound pierced by the water arrow was bleeding, staining the black shirt on his body blood red. If it weren't for the fact that the vitality of the warriors in the broken ordinary realm was far superior to that of ordinary people, according to the amount of bleeding, he would have died 10 times. After the fierce battle just now, there were only 3 people left on the side of the Demon Suppression Division who were still able to fight again. Fong Su supported his body with a ghost-headed broadsword. His rough face was pale, and his expression was uncertain. The arm of his left hand was like dead meat, drooping weakly. Obviously, this hand could not exert force in a short time. Damn it! How could another innate demon appear in Shuyans? Such an important matter, how could Yen Qianhu, who has been staying in Baihe County, not notice it at all? Could it be that old man colluded with this demon? That the bearded leader couldn't help but choke. He stared at the demon in human form in front of him, and his mood became heavier. This was a muscular man over 2 meters tall, with a wide mouth and nose, and a rather ferocious appearance. On his majestic body, he wore a thick set of black armor, which was covered with traces of lightning strikes and damage. As if he had just experienced a fierce battle, he held a black iron halberd, and with this battle-damaged armor, he looked majestic, with the demeanor of a veteran general. However, the man's face was not good at this time, and he looked weak and had not recovered from a serious injury. But even so, the remaining 3 people from the Demon Suppression Division did not dare to underestimate the enemy. TSK, it really deserves to be the Demon Suppression Division of Qianshui City. Any field team sent out can have so many masters of the breaking the ordinary realm. I'm afraid that ordinary innate demons may not be your opponents, right? That the strong man carried the black iron halberd on his shoulder, carefully looked at the 2 men and 1 woman in front of him, and a mocking smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Not bad. You guys are qualified to be tasted carefully by me, Jiao Wushang. Jiao Wushang's golden demon eyes flashed with excitement and greed. For him, a demon who was seriously injured and in urgent need of human precious medicine, the stronger the strength of this treasure medicine, the better the effect of taking it. Jiao Wushang. Chen Shuejiao wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth. Her face suddenly changed, and she exclaimed. You are the bastard in Jialong Palace? It's a dragon turtle. Jiao Wushang raised his eyebrows and retorted coldly. You are a damn girl who can't talk. When I finish dealing with you 3, I will definitely use your tongue as a drink first. After saying that, the strong man waved the halberd in his hand, like a general commanding the waves. Under the control of his magic, the accumulated water around the wasteland instantly spread up and turned into a huge wave nearly 5 stories high. Seeing this, Chao Jianxin's breath was choked, and he tightly grasped the hilt in his hand. With cold sweat on his back, obviously in an injured state, he can still have such power. Is this the power of Jialong blood? If they face the innate dragon turtle in its prime, how many breaths can they hold on with just a few warriors in the mortal realm? Jiao Wushang. You are now taking the initiative to attack the people of the Demon Suppression Division. Are you trying to provoke a conflict between the Demon Suppression Division and the Jialong Palace? Fong Dahu's face was extremely ugly, and he threatened loudly. We still have a teammate who is not here. You must not hide the fact that you attacked us. If you dare to kill us, the garrison master of Qianshui City will definitely make you look bad. Teammate. Jiao Wushang stood proudly on the huge waves, looking down at the 3 people with a sneer on his face. Oh, are you talking about that Qi and Blood Realm fish who went alone? Don't worry, my subordinates have already gone to find him. Maybe he has already eaten him. As for your garrison master. Humph. After losing that treasure, your Qianshui City's Demon Suppression Division has long been nothing to fear. This entire Qianshui County will sooner or later be the territory of our Jialong Palace. As soon as the voice fell, Jiao Wushang swung the black iron halberd in his hand vigorously. The huge waves under his feet suddenly looked like soldiers who had received orders from the general. With overwhelming momentum, he slammed down on the 3 captains of the Demon Suppression Division, and instantly engulfed them completely. When the calm was restored, puff, A black shadow suddenly jumped out of the water and rushed straight towards the strong man. The ghost-headed broadsword drew out a 3-meter-long black blade, and with Fang Su's last strength, he chopped down fiercely on the enemy's crown. At the same time, accompanied by a sharp whistle, a bright silver magic sword, and the bearded man attacked from both sides. On the 3-foot green blade, the sharp sword light was condensed to the extreme, with a terrifying momentum that penetrated everything, and pierced straight into Zhao Wushang's heart. In addition, an extremely amazing sword intent came from behind the demon. The perfect Luyun sword technique was fully exerted, and even under the extraordinary performance of the one-armed swordsman, the power was even greater than before. Facing the final counterattack of these three people in desperate situations, ordinary innate demons would probably choose to temporarily avoid the edge. However, Zhao Wushang not only did not dodge, but instead showed a weird smile of conspiracy success. Buzz. A golden light shield appeared in front of the strong man out of thin air, putting down all the killing moves of the three people. No matter how hard they tried, they could not break through the defense of the golden light. Give it back to you. Zhao Wushang smiled, and suddenly a dark light shone brightly on his broken black armor, and the evil spirit rose. He actually bounced back all the attacks of Fang Su and others. Puff. Leader Fang spurted blood, and his body flew backwards like a cannonball, hitting a big tree hard. The only intact right arm was also shaken into a piece of dead meat by the magic just now, and it drooped down weakly. Zheng, the silver magic sword made a wailing sword chant, and fell into the water while spinning. The autumn-like sword body was instantly covered with fine cracks. The life magic sword was severely damaged, and Qinshuejiao, the owner, suffered a very serious backlash. He screamed on the spot, bleeding from all 7 orifices, fainted, and was barely breathing. Chao Jianqin was also backlashed by the sword energy, and the true energy in his body was agitated, and his face was blue and red. His Luyun sword technique has reached perfection, and he can use it freely. When he senses something is wrong, he has already retracted his strength in advance. Therefore, the counterattack damage he suffered is also the lightest among the three, but even so, this one-armed swordsman has little energy to fight again. Is this the innate realm monster of Jialong Palace? Such a strange magic. Could it be a mutated monster? Chao Jianqin sat down on the muddy ground helplessly. Looking at the black-armored strong man holding a war halberd and walking slowly, he felt extremely desperate. This feeling of powerlessness before death made him recall the experience of facing the blood-clawed wolf monster in the suburbs of Changle County. However, he was lucky to be saved by a senior monster catcher last time. I'm afraid he won't be so lucky this time. Just as Chao Jianqin's mind was running a revolving lantern, ready to close his eyes and wait for death, click, accompanied by a deafening thunder, a blue lightning, with a heart-pounding aura of destruction, fell towards the black-armored man. The blinding lightning instantly illuminated the entire wasteland. Chapter 92. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Thunder method. That female king of hell is back to kill me again. Feeling the destructive breath that made him feel painful to the bone, Zhao Wushang was immediately frightened, like a cat seeing a cucumber, and hurriedly flew back. At the same time, he used all his strength to drive the demon, condensing a thick golden light shield in front of him. Boom! The azure blue lightning hit the light shield fiercely. The terrifying lightning exploded with a bang, and the momentum was extremely terrifying, but it did not penetrate the defense of the light shield. Seeing this, Zhao Wushang was stunned. That's not right. How could the power of the thunder method this time be so weak? Zhao Wushang turned around in confusion and looked in the direction where the thunder method was just performed, but he saw a tall black-shirt lieutenant stepping on the waves and walking steadily towards this muddy wasteland. On his handsome face, a pair of black eyes flickered with lightning, like two bronze mirrors reflecting thunderclouds. Obviously, the thunder method just now was from him. Gu Cheng. How could it be him? Chao Jianqin looked at his roommate who had been with him for more than half a month, and his brain was overloaded for a while. In a trance, he actually overlapped Gu Cheng's figure with that mysterious master of magic. I really didn't expect that in addition to being a master of zither art, he is also the successor of Su's thunder method. Chao Jianqin's face flushed with excitement, and a glimmer of hope rose in his heart, which was originally a little desperate. The reputation of Su's thunder method is well known throughout Yunzhou, and it is the biggest nemesis of many demons and evil cultivators. Looking at the frightened look on the demon's face just now, Gu Cheng may really be able to defeat the opponent with his sharp thunder method. Gu Cheng. Run. You are no match for that beast. Fang Su endured the severe pain in his arms and shouted to the newcomer, although he was also very shocked that Gu Cheng was actually equipped with thunder magic, but the bearded man was very clear-headed. With Gu Cheng's thunder magic power, which was at most at the level of breaking the ordinary realm, he would never be able to defeat the dragon turtle in the innate realm. Even if the beast was seriously injured, there was absolutely no chance. The Demon Suppression Division finally recruited a genius with such a terrifying talent this year, so how could it be sacrificed in such a trap mission? Gu Cheng naturally did not listen to Fang Huzi's persuasion. He looked around and saw that his teammates were not in danger for the time being, and he felt relieved. Then he slowly stepped forward and confronted the strong man holding a halberd and wearing black armor. Interesting. I didn't expect that there is a descendant of the Su family among the newcomers of the Demon Suppression Division. So, have all my new subordinates been killed by you? Humph. What a bunch of useless rubbish. Jiao Wushang looked Gu Cheng up and down, his golden demon pupils filled with uncontrollable anger and tyranny. Damn it. Before, he was chased by the female Hades of the spiritual sea realm like a grandson. If it weren't for his amazing natural defense and the natal demon armor that Grandpa Jiao helped to refine, he would have been chopped into charcoal by the opponent's thunder magic. The female Hades was too powerful, so Jiao Wushang didn't dare to have the idea of revenge. But isn't this Su family descendant with low strength in front of him just a punching bag for him to take revenge on? Don't worry, I will never let you die easily. I will find someone to raise you well, torture you day and night, and make you regret being born in this world. Jiao Wushang roared with gritted teeth, then he swung the black iron halberd in his hand vigorously, and the demonic power in his body surged, trying to control the waves again. Not good. Seeing this, Chao Jianxin and Fang Su on the side were shocked and held their breath, ready to deal with the impact of the big waves. However, after a few breaths, a very embarrassing scene appeared. No matter how Jiao Wushang waved the halberd and urged the magic, the water source in this marshland was still calm. Just like a remote control with blocked signals, it suddenly lost the ability to command the waves. Jiao Wushang's face changed slightly. With the blood of a dragon, he was born with the ability to control water flow. Although he was not as good as a pure-blooded dragon, he was far beyond the ordinary innate water monster. Now his water control ability suddenly failed. The only possibility is that the real owner of this Shuyans used his absolute control over the water in his territory to forcibly neutralize his magic. Is this the water control ability of the green water demon ape? Jiao Wushang looked at Gu Cheng in disbelief. How could the unique water control ability of this water monkey and the thunder method of the Su family in Yunzhou appear on the same person at the same time? This is fucking. Is it really a person? Just when the black-armored sturdy man was puzzled, Gu Cheng took the lead in launching an attack. He pinched the magic formula with his hands, and lightning flashed in the palm of his hand. Boom boom boom. A series of palm thunders hit Jiao Wushang fiercely. This kind of terrifying thunder that can seriously injure a great demon in the realm of breaking through the ordinary has a terrifying momentum, but it still cannot break the defense of the black-armored sturdy man. You are so fucking. Jiao Wushang felt that he was provoked, and his face turned red instantly. He immediately clenched the weapon in his hand and rushed to Gu Cheng like a black whirlwind. The black iron halberd came from top to bottom, carrying the cold demonic aura, and hit the opponent's head fiercely. Gu Cheng did not dodge, but chose to face the battle head-on. Humph, you are looking for death. Jiao Wushang looked ferocious when he saw this, and almost laughed wildly. Even though he is seriously injured and in a worse condition than before, he is still a dragon turtle with dragon blood. You, a spiritual cultivator, actually dare to fight with a great demon in the innate realm in close combat? You are simply courting death. Just as Jiao Wushang secretly increased his strength, trying to beat this ignorant fool into a pool of meat with a halberd, a slender and white palm suddenly stretched out and grasped the black iron halberd with force. He took this powerful blow steadily. The smile on Jiao Wushang's face froze. The next moment, a huge force as vast as the sea came from that palm. The black iron halberd in Jiao Wushang's hand slipped out of his hand instantly. Then Gu Cheng used it as a baseball bat and slapped him hard, sending him flying with one blow. Jiao Wushang's defense was so strong that this fierce blow did not cause any substantial damage to him. However, the shock caused by the amazing force made the demon's brain buzz. Before Jiao Wushang landed, Gu Cheng's figure caught up like a ghost. He lifted the halberd in his hand with force, and with a whistling wind, he blasted Jiao Wushang into the sky again. Gu Cheng's strong body brought by the reverse practice of Blood Sword Sutra has long been comparable to the demons of the innate realm. After that, it was further improved by refining the demon core. Even if Gu Cheng does not open the immortal demon body now, this seriously injured demon of the innate realm can only be beaten by him unilaterally. Bang bang bang, with the blessing of absolute speed and strength, Gu Cheng's figure moved at high speed in the battlefield, leaving a trail of afterimages. That poor Jiao Wushang was like a hard ball, being beaten all over the place by him, and couldn't even land. What kind of monster is this guy? Fang Su and Chao Jianxin looked at the battlefield in front of them with horror, silently swallowing their saliva. The innate realm monster who had easily crushed all of them alone was beaten by Gu Cheng like a grandson, and had no power to fight back at all. Even if the dragon turtle was seriously injured and not in its prime, it was a bit too outrageous, right? Chapter 93. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Gu Cheng beat Jiao Wushang for nearly half an incense stick of time. There was a crisp sound of crack. The hard black iron halberd was overwhelmed and was broken by Gu Cheng. Gu Cheng threw the scrapped long handle away. A fierce whip kick hit the black armored man hard. Bang! A visible air wave spread from the black armor. Jiao Wushang's majestic body flew backwards like a cannonball, rolling wildly on the water, splashing a lot of water. Finally, after crashing into a tree that 5 people hugged, it barely stopped. The giant tree, nearly 20 feet high, slowly fell down and hit the water, stirring up waves and splashing water drops, like a rainstorm. In this pattering rain curtain, Jiao Wushang stood up unsteadily, his head still buzzing. Although he was beaten up by Gu Cheng just now, under the protection of his life-defining demon armor, this innate demon was actually fine. It was just that the luster on the damaged armor was a little dimmer than before. Jiao Wushang calmed down and looked up at the black-shirted young man in the distance. His golden demon pupils were filled with unbelievable horror. What kind of monster is this? Not only is his spiritual cultivation comparable to that of an innate, but even his physical strength is far beyond that of an ordinary innate demon. Combined with his water control ability like the Lord of the Water Marsh, Jiao Wushang could not help but feel doubtful, and could not help but ask Gu Cheng loudly. Hey! You guy, are you a human or a monster? I am your grandfather. Gu Cheng's face was immediately black, and he immediately pulled out the black feather from his waist. Damn it! He had been restrained enough in this battle. He did not use any of the blood shadow blade technique, the indestructible demon body, and the blood scale rage, which were partial to the magic way. How could others still have such a misunderstanding? Gu Cheng became more and more depressed the more he thought about it, and immediately activated the flowing cloud chasing wind technique, and his figure suddenly disappeared from the spot. The next moment, he appeared behind Jiao Wushang. The black blade was wrapped with azure lightning, and it chopped hard at the neck of the black-armored strong man. Jiao Wushang couldn't help but hold his breath. After the battle just now, he no longer dared to fight with the other party. He clenched his fists and stood in a horse stance. At the same time, he used all his strength to activate the demon, condensing a golden light shield to block behind him. Clang! In a flash of lightning, Mou's slender blade fiercely slashed on the golden light shield. Then he saw the black light on the broken armor, which bounced back all the force of Gu Cheng's slash. Feeling the huge force coming from the ink knife, Gu Cheng frowned, and his body suddenly flew backwards like a cloud, turning several times in the air before landing steadily. As a master of the sword, he could easily remove the sword energy of this slash, but under this strange magic without any signs, the blood in Gu Cheng's body was still surging, and an unhealthy blush rose on his face. Obviously, he had suffered a big loss. Be careful. There's something strange about the magic armor on the dragon turtle. Seeing this, Chao Jianxin hurriedly reminded loudly. Once he activates the magic, he can rebound all the damage he receives. Come on, kid, aren't you good at fighting? Keep coming over. Jiao Wushang hooked his finger at Gu Cheng in the distance. with a provocative look on his face. His natal magic armor is a top-grade magic weapon made by the old Dragon King of Jiaolong Palace, using his own shed shells and various precious minerals. Not only can it greatly improve his own defense, it can also be used to activate the magic, and it can also amplify his innate magical power of rebounding. With this natal magic armor, Jiao Wushang can even successfully escape from the thunder bombardment of a Linghai Venerable. Although thanks to the female Hades, his magic armor is now severely damaged and its power is not as strong as before, but it is still not a problem to use it to defend and rebound the attacks of the innate realm warriors. Jiao Wushang has made up his mind now, since he is seriously injured now, there is really no way to deal with this kid, then give up attacking, defend with all your strength, and kill him with counter-injury. Rebound damage? Is there such a disgusting magical power? Gu Cheng adjusted the surging blood in his body, and frowned slightly. This big meat bastard with anti-armor is so disgusting. I am afraid that even with the power of blood-scale fury, it is difficult to kill it with one blow, but fortunately, he just has a trump card specifically for dealing with this kind of enemy. Gu Cheng took a deep breath. He sheathed the ink knife and looked at Jiao Wushang. In the previous battle, he had been concentrating on sensing the opponent's weaknesses. Now, he finally got some clues. You asked me to come here. Gu Cheng narrowed his eyes slightly, and a faint sense of death lingered on his right hand. Although there were no gorgeous special effects, there was an inexplicable sense of danger that made people's right eyelids jump. Whoosh! Gu Cheng lowered his body and rushed straight towards Jiao Wushang like a black lightning. The strong wind brought by the high-speed movement stirred up waves of 2 feet high on both sides. Humph! Come on! Jiao Wushang had a mocking face, like a Navy vice admiral who was extremely confident in the defense of the iron block. He still stood there, without dodging. At the same time, he used all his strength to activate the magic, condensing a thick light shield in front of him. The distance of less than 100 meters was reached in an instant. Gu Cheng rushed to Jiao Wushang, with his right hand in the shape of a tiger claw, and he reached forward with force. A simple black tiger heart digger, like a martial art that a child is just learning, does not look special at all, but in the next second, Gu Cheng's ordinary move actually broke the golden light shield in an instant. Then the power did not decrease, and he blasted through Jiao Wushang's natal demon armor with one blow, and dug a big hole in the belly of this strong man. The fingers with distinct joints tore the flesh, and skillfully grasped a meatball the size of an egg, and pulled it out with force. When Gu Cheng pulled his right hand out of Jiao Wushang's belly, in his palm, there was already a golden demon core, and the misty treasure light was lingering on the surface of the demon core. It was obviously not an ordinary product at first glance. The bright red demon blood gushed out from the wound on the stomach. A sharp pain that touched the depths of his soul instantly pulled Jiao Wushang back to reality from his confusion. Ah! The shrill howl resounded throughout the entire Shuyans. Jiao Wushang's majestic body collapsed straight to the ground. His aura instantly fell to the bottom. His face was pale, and his breath was weak, but with the powerful vitality of the innate realm monster, he did not die for a while. He struggled to raise his head. Seeing Gu Cheng put the dragon turtle monster core into the storage bag in front of him, his spirit collapsed instantly, and he roared like crazy. You give me my monster core back. Don't make a fuss, it's just a small operation. Gu Cheng glanced at Jiao Wushang coldly and pulled out the black feather from his waist. After losing his natal demon armor and the lifelong demon power contained in his demon core, this innate demon with amazing defense was nothing more than a piece of fish on a chopping board. Swish! A cold knife light slashed through the air, chopping off the demon's head. Jiao Wushang's body instantly turned into its original form, a giant dragon turtle about 10 feet long, as big as a hill. The thick tortoise shell was full of cracks and traces of lightning strikes. The chopped head had a single horn on it, and its appearance was very similar to a dragon. The dull golden demon pupils were filled with endless fear and resentment. Kill the innate intermediate dragon turtle and obtain lifespan, 798 years. Chapter 94. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The golden crow falls in the west, and the jade rabbit rises in the east. The dim sunlight shines on the boundless water, creating shimmering waves. In Shuyans, there is a slightly drier open space. Gu Cheng sat on a broken log, holding by Wan, gently wiping the blade of Mou. Those companions were seriously injured, and his yin-yang absolute immortal hand just happened to have not practiced the yang hand of nursing people, so he was completely helpless. Fortunately, the dragon turtle's demon blood has a good healing effect. Gu Cheng fed them the dragon turtle blood and a few pills he carried with him, temporarily stabilizing the lives of these people. On the other side, Fang Su and Chao Jianxin walked towards Gu Cheng together after bandaging the wounds of these wounded. Looking at this handsome and extraordinary black-shirt lieutenant, the two of them couldn't help but look a little strange. How is it? When will those people wake up? Gu Cheng sheathed his sword and turned to look at the visitor. Yanan and the other 5 are fine, but they have lost too much blood. They should be fine after a night's rest. Fang Su sat on a broken log beside him and sighed quietly. Chen Xuejiao was the most seriously injured. Her life-defining magic sword was seriously damaged, and she herself was also backlashed, and even her Qi was injured. I'm afraid she won't wake up in 10 days or half a month. The sword-controlling technique of Mingjian Villa is extremely special. Almost 80% of the strength of the Chen family lies in their life-defining magic sword. Usually, relying on the equipment advantage brought by the family background, they can bully ordinary warriors, but once they meet a tough guy and hurt their life-defining magic sword, she will most likely be useless. Chao Jianxin, who was standing by, could not help but glance back at the unconscious silver-haired woman after hearing this, with a complicated look on his face. In fact, he had a conflict with Chen Xuejiao before, and now that she was in trouble, he should have applauded, but Chao Jianxin's focus now was obviously not on gloating. Just yesterday, Chen Xuejiao used her family's sword-controlling skills to suppress him, a genius in swordsmanship, so that he could not even raise his head, but when facing Jiao Wushang, the proud descendant of Mingjian Villa could not even break the opponent's defense, and was directly countered by the magic of counter injury. However, it was such a terrifying innate dragon turtle. After meeting Gu Cheng, it had no power to fight back at all, and was beaten like a grandson throughout the whole process. Jiao Wushang's proud tortoise-shell defense was like paper, and was directly pierced through by Gu Cheng. With these levels stacked up one by one, the gap between him and Gu Cheng is too big, isn't it? He said he knows a little bit of everything, but he really didn't brag. In the battle with Jiao Wushang, he has already demonstrated thunder magic, light skills, sword skills, body training, and fist and palm skills, and he has practiced every martial art to a very high level. He looks like he is only in his early 20s. How did he master so many skills? That the one-armed swordsman was puzzled, thinking of how he wanted to spar with Gu Cheng without knowing whether to live or die. He felt so embarrassed that he almost scratched the sole of his shoe. How is he not good at sparring? It's obvious that he is afraid that he won't be able to control the strength during the sparring and accidentally beat him to death. Brother Gu, this mission is really thanks to you. Fang Su stared at the young man who turned the tide, and stood up with a serious face. If you hadn't come to rescue us in time, I'm afraid all of us would have become the dragon turtle's food. All of us owe you a life. As he said this, the bearded man looked solemn, and regardless of his injuries, he bowed deeply to Gu Cheng. Seeing this, Chao Jianxin on the side also followed suit. While bending down and bowing, he thanked him solemnly. Brother Gu, I will never forget your life-saving grace. If you need me in the future, I, Chao Jianxin, will go through fire and water without hesitation. So you didn't change the lines of thanking for saving your life? Gu Cheng secretly complained in his heart, and at the same time hurriedly stood up and helped the two people who bowed up. Since there were too many wounded in the group, Gu Cheng and the others could only rest for one night. The three of them started a bonfire and cut some meat from the dragon turtle's corpse. They chatted while grilling. The meat of the dragon turtle in the innate realm is a rare high-end ingredient. With the simplest cooking method, it can be made into the most exquisite delicacy, and with Gu Cheng's master cooking skills, this slightly simple barbecue burst out with infinite charm. Fang Su and Chao Jianxin feasted on it and ate it. Their mouths were full of oil, and they indulged in their gluttony. Even with the help of this delicious meal, their injuries were mostly healed. Brother Gu, you are definitely the top of the ranking of newcomers in the final assessment this time. After listening to Gu Cheng's story, Fang de Huzi swallowed the barbecue in his mouth and congratulated him in advance. Slayed 3 demons that broke through the mortal realm in a row, executed the traitor Yan Qingsong who colluded with the demons, and finally turned the tide and killed a great demon in the innate realm. The merits you have gained in this day are almost more than what I have gained in the past 10 years. I also heard that the essence and blood of this innate dragon turtle are extremely precious. Not only is there it has the effect of prolonging life, and is also an excellent material for refining longevity pills. As long as you hand over the corpse of this dragon turtle to the Demon Suppression Division, you can get at least half of the longevity pills made afterwards. Fong Su smacked his lips with envy and murmured. This longevity pill is a good thing. Taking one pill can extend your life by 50 years. If it is not impossible to take it repeatedly, the legendary immortality may not be impossible to achieve. Oh. Gu Cheng nodded gently, with a calm face. It's just 50 years of life, a Tang Yuan's business, there is really nothing to praise. That. Feng Tu, you said before that this Jiao Wushang belongs to the Jiaolong Palace and is the grandson of the old Jiao King. Chao Jianxin on the side suddenly frowned slightly, and a trace of worry flashed across his face. Now that Brother Gu has killed this dragon turtle with his own hands, doesn't that mean he has a mortal enemy with the Jiaolong Palace from now on? That's right, the Jiaolong clan is famous for protecting their own people. Even if Jiao Wushang is not a pure-blooded Jiaolong, they probably won't let it go, but... Brother Gu, you don't have to worry too much about this. Fong Su nodded seriously, turned to look at Gu Cheng, and said softly. As long as you stay in Tianshui City, no matter how powerful the Jiaolong Palace is, they will never dare to come to the city to seek revenge on you. What's more, with the terrifying talent you showed today, you will definitely be trained by the government. Who knows, you may even be favored by the garrison commander and accepted as his personal disciple. The personal disciple of the garrison commander? Chao Jianxin couldn't help but exclaimed, looking at Gu Cheng with envy in his eyes. He had heard his master say this before when he was in Tingyan Martial Arts Hall. Among the 12 garrison commanders of the 12 counties of Yunzhou, the Master Ji of their Tianshui county is the youngest and has the greatest potential. If he can be selected as a personal disciple by Master Ji, not to mention the massive cultivation resources he can get, just relying on such a great potential thigh is enough to walk sideways in Yunzhou. Is that so? Gu Cheng lowered his head to eat barbecue, still with a calm face, and his calm performance, which showed no emotion, also made Fong Su and Chao Jianxin admire him more and more. In fact, Gu Cheng really has no interest in staying in Tianshui City and being a disciple for others. After all, his so-called evil talent is completely piled up by his lifespan, if he is not allowed to go out to kill demons and monsters. Once the lifespan reserve is insufficient, won't it be exposed in a minute? So if Gu Cheng wants to become stronger quickly, it is safest to take the path of killing all the way. Chapter 95. You are listening at novelfull.audio. That night, the moon was bright and the stars were few. Under the bright moonlight, Shuyan's was like a silver painting, quiet and peaceful. Chao Jianxin and Fong Su, the two wounded soldiers, had already fallen asleep after eating and drinking. Gu Cheng, who was in charge of keeping watch, was sitting cross-legged on a huge rock, looking at the dragon turtle corpse that was like a hill not far away. His mind was full of thoughts, to be honest. Compared with other demons, this dragon turtle is indeed very special, except that its eyes are golden, instead of the ferocious blood-red demon pupils of ordinary demons. Its demon blood does not have any pungent fishy smell, and its meat is firm and chewy, and tastes quite good. Perhaps, this is because it has the blood of a dragon? If that is true, then what kind of delicious food would the pure-blooded dragon meat be? Reading to this point, Gu Cheng couldn't help but salivate, and his index finger moved, thinking that the Jiaolong Palace was more and more a way to death. Then he shook his head and threw this overly greedy thought behind his mind. He turned to seriously review the battle between himself and Jiao Wushang. Don't think that Gu Cheng seemed to win very easily today, and he beat the Xiantian dragon turtle all the time, but in fact, he was lucky to win this time. First, Jiao Wushang was not in his prime. It was beaten half to death by Sun Yanshue's ant before, and its strength was greatly reduced, and its life demon armor was close to scrap. Otherwise, when Gu Cheng performed Yin Yang Absolute Immortal Hand, he would not have found the weakness of the armor so easily. Second, after Gu Cheng completely refined the demon core of the green water demon ape, he had a strong home advantage in Shuyans. If it weren't for this move, he could have neutralized Jiao Wushang's water control magic. It would have been difficult for Gu Cheng to fight a dragon turtle with the blood of a dragon in this vast marshland. Third, the Xiantian martial arts that Gu Cheng had just learned was the nemesis of heavily armored enemies. Jiao Wushang was also very confident in his defense, and he didn't even try to dodge, so he was killed by Gu Cheng in one move. If it weren't for this, if Gu Cheng had met Jiao Wushang in his prime, he would have been able to escape unscathed at best. But anyway, I really gained a lot today. Gu Cheng grinned, looked at the panel intently, and was quite excited. Remaining lifespan, 4,518 years, 0.3 mortal-breaking great monsters, a mortal-breaking traitor of the Demon Suppression Division, and a Shintian-level dragon turtle. Before Gu Cheng's previous lifespan of more than 2,000 years was used up, it doubled again and reached a new height. It is equivalent to 90 Tang Yuan. This also made Gu Cheng sigh that joining the headquarters of the Demon Suppression Division was indeed a wise move. As long as you are willing, there will be no worries about not having demons and evil cultivators to kill. In addition to this surge in lifespan and 4 precious demon cores, the snake demon that broke through the mortal realm also had a rare drop, exploding a soul afterimage. Although Gu Cheng never had much hope for the soul afterimage of the demon, but with the mentality of opening a blind box, he still poured 50 years of life into the soul afterimage of the snake demon in one breath, in a trance. A huge water snake slowly emerged in Gu Cheng's mind. The green snake scales were as hard as steel. And the pair of red vertical pupils were cold and ruthless, exuding a terrifying demonic aura. Year 1, you spent 50 years of your life and successfully awakened the soul of the snake demon, because you completely refined the demon core of the green water demon ape. The aura of the Lord of Shuyans remained on your body. The snake demon's residual soul was very afraid of you and did not dare to act rashly. In the face of your questions, she told you everything she knew. Year 7, the snake demon's residual soul shared with you some of the experience of controlling water magic, but for you who have the magical power of controlling water like a water monkey, this experience is really better than nothing. Year 18, the snake demon's residual soul shared with you a lot of information about the demon clan. Through its introduction, you have a clear understanding of the major demon clan forces in Tianshui County. Year 31, after years of chatting and communicating with each other, the snake demon's residual soul has completely surrendered to you and shared with you a lot of news it heard from Jiao Wushang. You know a lot of internal information about the Jiaolong Palace. From now on, this remnant soul has no secrets for you. Remaining lifespan, 4,437 years. After summarizing and sorting out the extra information in his mind, Gu Cheng slowly opened his eyes. A strange color flashed faintly in his dark eyes. A high-level demon in the breakthrough realm, let go in a remote mountainous area like Changle County. He could be the king of the mountain, command hundreds of monsters, and cause trouble to the area. At that time, looking at the entire Tianshui County, he was nothing more than a slightly stronger minion, and he could not be on the stage at all. Therefore, due to its own strength, most of the monster information known by the snake monster's remnant soul was not nutritious. The only thing with some gold content was the internal information of the Jiaolong Palace. According to the description of the snake monster's remnant soul, most of the dragon sons and grandsons under the command of the old Jiao Wang of the Jiaolong Palace were a bunch of homebodies. They stayed in the Tianshui River all year round to sleep, and occasionally went ashore to ask for boys and girls from the fishing villages by the river. They would not go far away easily. The reason why the innate dragon turtle left the Tianshui River and unfortunately ran into Sun Yenshue's aunt was to find the treasure that the Demon Suppression Division had lost not long ago. The lost treasure, This clue can be connected. Gu Cheng's mind seemed to flash with electricity, and he sorted out his thoughts in an instant. Sun Yanshue had said it before, the fox demon by family had a strange thief who committed crimes everywhere in Yunzhou. Not long ago, it made a big news in Tianshui City, which indirectly led to a large-scale purge that swept the entire Tianshui County. Now it seems the thing that the fox demon thief stole in Tianshui City should be the treasure, right? So, what exactly is this so-called treasure? Gu Cheng stroked his chin, and was quite curious, but Jiao Wushang did not reveal more details to the snake demon, so he had no way of knowing. However, it can be foreseen that Jiaolong Palace is determined to get the treasure. Even the two dragons in the Spirit Sea realm woke up for this purpose and were secretly investigating the matter in Tianshui County. It must be a very important treasure that the Demon Suppression Division in Jiaolong Palace both attach so much importance to. According to the current situation, when the whereabouts of the treasure are known, the two top forces in Tianshui County will inevitably start a fierce battle for it. I just happen to have a mortal enemy with Jiaolong Palace. If we wait until the full-scale war breaks out, I'm afraid I won't be able to rest easy even if I stay in Tianshui City, right? Gu Cheng looked up at the starry night sky, frowned slightly, and looked solemn. This feeling of impending storm is really depressing, making him more eager to improve his strength. I now have enough lifespan and a lot of monster cores in stock, which are enough to assist in cultivation. After returning to Tianshui City, I must exchange the second volume of Blue Dragon 100 refining as soon as possible to make up for the shortcomings of Qi refining. Then, I will secretly go to the secret base of Lady Blood in Tianshui County to obtain the third volume of Blood Sword Sutra. Gu Cheng silently made plans for the future in his mind. Presumably, when his body refining reaches the peak of the Xiantian realm, even when facing the venerable and the great monster of the spiritual sea realm, he will have enough power to protect himself, right? Chapter 96. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 5 days later, at noon, in the yamen of the Demon Suppression Department of Tianshui Town, in a quiet and elegant courtyard, two generals of the Demon Suppression Department were sitting in front of the chessboard, drinking hot tea, playing chess and chatting. The curling hot steam rose from the teacups of the two people, and the atmosphere was quiet and peaceful. I say, Old Eagle. A middle-aged man with elegant temperament and graceful demeanor put a white piece on the chessboard and casually said. I heard from Baichuan that you not only fined him 50,000 taels of silver, but also made him chew a teapot in order to help a martial arts genius in a small place. That's right. What's wrong, old fox? As a foster father, do you want to help your adopted son? Su Weining put down a black piece, raised his eyes and glanced at his old friend, his eyes as sharp as an eagle. It just so happens that we haven't fought for decades, so we can go to the martial arts arena to stretch our muscles. No, I can't beat you, a martial arts madman. Hu Qingyun waved his hands and smiled. I'm just a little curious, what kind of brilliant young talent can make our Lord Su protect him so much? Humph, you will know soon. Su Weining took a sip of hot tea, with a firm face. My eyes have always been very accurate in judging people. That kid is definitely not an ordinary person. In time, I'm afraid he will be a genius who is not inferior to Lord Ji. Not inferior to Lord Ji. Isn't it a bit exaggerated? The talent of our garrison lord is not something that everyone can match. Hu Qingyun raised his eyebrows slightly, dropped a white piece, and directly blocked a big dragon of the black piece. Let's not talk about the distant past, just look at the seeded players who took the assessment this year. They have all returned victoriously, and their achievements are more impressive than each other. The kid from Mingjian Villa, with one sword, broke into the camp of the giant whale gang and killed more than 70 bandits overnight, including 2 masters who broke through the mortal realm. I heard that he has a sister who also came to participate in the assessment. Although her strength is slightly inferior, relying on the sword-controlling skills of their Mingjian Villa, I think she will not be much worse. The little monk from Puzhou Temple also had a brilliant record. Relying on his indestructible glass body, he fought 3 monsters that broke through the mortal realm alone. After a day and night of fierce fighting, 2 of the 3 demons died and 1 escaped, while he himself was only slightly scratched. As for the disciple of Master Ji, she is even more terrifying. Her second volume of Blue Dragon refining has reached perfection, and her strength is comparable to that of a congenital. While performing field missions, the girl even killed a remnant of the Blood Knife sect in the congenital realm alone. Old Eagle, even if you are optimistic about the boy's talent, is he really comparable to these geniuses with deep backgrounds? This. Su Weining looked at his big dragon on the chessboard, which was trapped in a dead end, and hesitated for a moment, but he still gritted his teeth and placed a black piece, forcing an explanation. Of course they are comparable. Although Gu Cheng was born in a small place, he has other adventures, and he is not much inferior to the descendants of those big forces. Really? A sly flash of cunning flashed in Hu Qingyun's eyes, and the white piece in his hand fell quietly, completely announcing the outcome of this chess game. Since you are so optimistic about that kid named Gu, Old Eagle, why don't we make a bet? Let's bet on whether he can rank among the top 5 in this final assessment for the merits he has gained in this mission. Hu Qingyun pointed to the white jade teapot next to the chessboard, and said. If his score is not in the top 5, you eat this teapot, otherwise I eat it, how about it? Do you dare to bet? Let's bet. Su Weinian gritted his teeth. He had already lost 5 games in a row, and it was obvious that he was a little bit excited. When the old man came to his senses and looked at the look of Ko Aoyo who had succeeded in his conspiracy, he suddenly realized, damn. After all the trouble, this old fox is still protecting his shortcomings and wants to use this gambling game to get back his position. Old Master Su pulled the corner of his mouth and complained in his heart. At this point, it would be useless for him to say anything. He could only pray silently in his heart that the kid surnamed Gu could fight back, just as the two of them packed up their chess pieces and prepared to play another game. Adoptive father. Adoptive father. Son Baichuan ran into the courtyard in a panic, and when he saw that General Su was here, he couldn't help but choke. Baichuan, how many times have I told you to learn to control your emotions and stay calm at all times? Hu Qingyun glanced at his adopted son with dissatisfaction, picked up the teacup, and blew the hot air on it. Adjust your breathing and speak slowly. What happened? Adoptive father, Son Baichuan took a deep breath and said seriously, outside the Foreign Affairs Hall, someone brought in the corpse of a dragon turtle in the Xiantian realm. Crack, the teacup in Hu Qingyun's hand was crushed to pieces. He appeared in front of Son Baichuan like a black whirlwind, grabbed his adopted son's shoulders with both hands, and asked urgently, a dragon turtle in the Xiantian realm? But the Jiao Wushang of the Jiaolong Palace. That damn beast is actually dead. That beast. Son Baichuan nodded vigorously. Hearing this, Hu Qingyun's eyes were instantly filled with bloodshot, his inner energy was surging, and the black cloud cloak behind him moved without wind. Immediately soared into the sky and flew rapidly towards the direction of the Foreign Affairs Hall. Hey! Old fox! Alas! Su Weinian raised his hand, sighed, and also flew up and quickly caught up. Son Baichuan was confused when he saw the two big guys flying away one after the other. He couldn't fly, so he had to use Qinggong and ran towards the Foreign Affairs Hall along the original road. Jianshui Town Demon Department Yamen, Foreign Affairs Hall. The body of the Xiantian realm dragon turtle was really too huge. Even though there were people from the Baihe County branch to help, and they could drive the Jiaoma, a high-quality means of transportation, it took Gu Cheng and others nearly 5 days to transport the goods back to Tianshui City. That is, the body of the Xiantian realm big demon is quite magical. Flesh and blood are extremely difficult to rot, otherwise the smell of this thing would definitely be very touching. The dragon turtle monster corpse, which was as big as a hill, was quietly placed in the square outside the Foreign Affairs Hall, attracting many black-shirt lieutenants to stop and watch. Except for Chen Shuejiao, who was still seriously injured and unconscious, she was sent to the outside of the medical hall. The injuries of Su Yanan and several other lieutenants were no longer serious. They were standing near the dragon turtle monster corpse, feeling the gazes of their colleagues around them, and they felt quite proud. Although this head was not theirs, it was also an honor to get an assist from such a powerful enemy. Strange. Where did Brother Gu and the other two go? Fang Su looked around and found that the 3 newcomers who participated in the assessment had all left the team, and he couldn't help but be very confused. Gu Cheng said that he didn't like to show up in public or join in the fun, so he went back to his small courtyard to rest in advance. Su Yanan stood aside and explained softly. Chao Jianxin happened to live in the same courtyard with him, so they went back together. Well, he works in a high-profile manner and lives a low-profile life. He has made such a great contribution and can remain calm in the face of praise or criticism. He is really a material for doing great things. Fang Su nodded softly with admiration on his face. Just then, 2 figures wearing black cloud cloaks suddenly flew from afar and landed in front of the dragon turtle corpse. It was Hu Qingyun and Su Weinian. Chapter 97. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Master Su. Master Hu, that the onlookers saw the domineering black cloud cloaks on the two men, and their faces suddenly became stern, and they all bowed and saluted. Well, let's go, it's just a big turtle, what's there to see? Su Weiniang nodded to the crowd and waved his hand to signal the guys who were watching the fun to leave. Gu Cheng took 2 steps forward, staring at the dragon-like single-horned head of the dragon turtle, clenching his fists tightly, and the monstrous hatred in his eyes seemed to be real. The master's pressure that escaped was like a surging wave, pressing Fang Su and others nearby to not dare to breathe, after staring for a while. The elegant man suddenly chuckled, and then laughed wildly. At the sky like a madman, muttering to himself. Good death. Good death. Once this damn beast dies, the spirit of my deceased wife can finally rest in peace. While speaking, Gu Cheng's face was already full of tears, without any trace of his usual elegance. Seeing this, Su Weiniang at the side sighed and gently patted his old friend's shoulder to comfort him. More than 100 years ago, the childhood sweetheart of General Hu died in the line of duty during an outfield mission of the Demon Suppression Division, and died at the hands of the dragon turtle in the Jiaolong Palace. Gu Cheng was a seed of infatuation. After his fiancée died, he never married, and only wanted to avenge his deceased wife. However, the dragon turtle had been hiding in the Tianshui River and rarely went out. At the same time, its shell defense is extremely terrifying, and it is equipped with a strange demon armor, so its survivability is unsolvable. Even though Gu Cheng has the strength of a high-level Xiantian realm, he has been helpless with the dragon turtle. Now, this life-and-death feud that has been accumulated for 100 years has suddenly been avenged by others. It is understandable that Gu Cheng would lose his composure like this. After a while, Gu Cheng wiped the tears from his face. After adjusting his mood, he turned to look at Fang Su and others, and said kindly. Did you guys bring back the body of this dragon turtle? Do you know who killed it? I see that there are many traces of lightning strikes on the shell of this dragon turtle. Could it be a Linghai venerable from the Su family? The heir of the Su family. Su Weiniang couldn't help but look surprised when he heard it. If this is true, the benefactor who killed the dragon turtle must be the same person as the soul master he met in Chang'an County that day. With the terrifying power of the Su family's thunder method, it is not a problem to penetrate the defense of the dragon turtle. This. Fang Su and others looked at each other with hesitation. Then he told the two of them about the trip to Shuyan's. The two generals of the Demon Suppression Division widened their eyes and looked unbelievable. Wait. I shouldn't have heard it wrong, right? Su Weiniang took a deep breath, looked up at Fang Dehuzi, and said in a deep voice. You mean, this seriously injured innate dragon turtle was defeated by Gu Cheng alone? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Gu Cheng on the side exclaimed and interrupted Fang Su's explanation. I know the strength of Jiao Wushang very well. Even if it is seriously injured, its strength is not inferior to that of an ordinary innate master. What is the cultivation level of that kid named Gu? How could he finally kill Jiao Wushang? Lord Hu, you don't know that Brother Gu is proficient in many martial arts spells and his strength is far beyond his peers. It is impossible to judge by common sense. Fang Su bowed to General Hu and explained everything. In addition to the dragon turtle in the innate realm, the 3 water monsters in the mortal realm and the traitor Yan Qianhu who colluded with the demons were all killed by Brother Gu alone. After saying that, Su Yanan and others on the side blushed and lowered their heads gently. For this field mission, these so-called old guys are here to win by doing nothing, apart from assisting in the battle with the dragon turtle and helping in transporting the dragon turtle's corpse. He really didn't do anything else. He relied on a new blood sea. This, are you serious? Gu Cheng's eyes were dull, and his well-maintained face was blank. If this is true, even if the water-containing innate dragon turtle is not counted, just looking at the 3 monsters and 1 person killed by Gu Cheng, the merits he obtained in this final assessment are enough to rank in the top 5. People's joys and sorrows are not the same. Just when Gu Cheng was shocked by this horrifying result and doubted his life, Su Pianjiang on the side burst into laughter on the spot. Ha 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 ha, good boy. You really make me proud. It's quite amazing that he can have such terrifying strength at such a young age. I'm so young, Su Weiniang smiled and patted Hu Qingyun on the shoulder, with a smirk on his face. Old fox, don't forget what you said before, you must accept the loss, you can't cheat. Hu Qingyun's face suddenly turned as dark as the bottom of a pot. Originally, because of the revenge, the extremely happy heart also became less wonderful. Of course, we are old friends, I won't deliberately embarrass you. Su Weiniang smiled and pointed at Sun Baichuan, who came late. Don't you have an adopted son? As the saying goes, the son pays for the father's debt. If you have bad teeth and can't eat hard things, you can let your adopted son do it for you. Hearing this, Hu Qingyun's eyes moved slightly, raised his eyes and looked at his adopted son, with a thoughtful look on his face. Adoptive father? Sun Baichuan couldn't help but shudder, and suddenly a very bad premonition rose in his heart. Demon Suppression Division Office, Courtyard Number 17, Wuzi. Gu Cheng returned to the small courtyard and immediately went back to his room to catch up on sleep. These days, he has been in charge of keeping watch. Even with his current cultivation, he feels a little tired mentally. Chao Jianxin, holding a 3-foot green sword, diligently practiced sword in the yard. After this life-and-death crisis, he has a new interest in Luyun's sword technique. After coming back, he had to consolidate his insight so that his swordsmanship could be further improved. At this moment, there was a sudden knock on the door. Chao Jianxin put away his sword and hurriedly opened the door. He was slightly startled to find that the visitors were 2 lieutenants wearing black cloud cloaks and a captain wearing a golden crown. Then he immediately realized that the 3 people must be looking for Gu Cheng, so he politely invited them in. Gu Cheng, who was taking a nap, heard the noise outside and hurried out of the room. Ha ha ha. Xiao Gu, you really gave me a big surprise. Su Weiniang came up with a laugh, patted the young man on the shoulder, and said with approval. When I was in Chang'an County, I guessed that you had been pretending to be a pig, but I didn't expect you to be so hidden. Gu Cheng smiled awkwardly and was about to say something. The somewhat unfamiliar elegant lieutenant suddenly took 2 steps forward, clasped his hands in front of him, and bowed to the ground. Young Master Gu, please accept Hu's greetings. Sir, what are you doing? Gu Cheng quickly helped Hu Qingyun up, and at the same time looked at Su Weiniang with a puzzled look. General Su explained it briefly, which made him understand the cause and effect of the matter. It turns out that I helped others to get revenge again unintentionally. Gu Cheng's eyes flashed with a strange color, but soon returned to normal. In this fucked up world of demons and warriors, almost everyone has relatives and friends who died in the demon disaster. Examples like General Hu who have no way to get revenge are too common. Young Master Gu, I heard that my adopted son had a feud with you before. Alas, this is all my fault for not disciplining him properly. The 50,000 taels of silver he owes you, including the principal and interest, can be replaced with this. Hu Qingyun looked apologetic, took out a jade box from his storage bag and handed it to Gu Cheng, then he looked at Sun Baichuan behind him and shouted angrily. You rebellious son! Why don't you kneel down and apologize to young Master Gu? Chapter 98. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sun Baichuan felt worse than eating a dead fly. He had complained to Hu Qingyun before, wanting his adoptive father to help him. Who would have thought that because of the dragon turtle incident, his best friend would betray him? What the hell is this? Sun Baichuan looked like he had lost all hope in life. He knelt on the ground with a plop and said to Gu Cheng, prostrating himself. Brother Cheng, I know I was wrong. Gu Cheng glanced at the kneeling black-shirt lieutenant and opened the jade box in his hand. Tsk. A scorching demonic aura spread out instantly, causing the temperature of the courtyard to rise sharply. Gu Cheng looked closely and found that the jade box contained an egg-sized innate demon core. It was red all over, emitting a dark red demonic aura like flames, and vaguely formed the shadow of a flaming monster bird. Judging from the strength of the demonic power contained in this red demon core, the strength of this flame monster bird in its lifetime must be no less than that of the green water demon ape. What a good thing! Gu Cheng was delighted, closed the lid of the jade box, and put it into the storage bag. Then he smiled and helped Sun Baichuan, who was prostrating himself, up with both hands, the feud between the two was resolved. Gu Cheng pulled his adopted son behind him, bowed to Gu Cheng, and said seriously. Young Master Gu, the family behind who has a certain foundation in Qianshui City, with the talent and potential you have shown now, you will definitely be vigorously cultivated by the Demon Suppression Department, and there will be no shortage of resources for cultivation, but if you have any material needs in the future, who will do his best to meet your requirements. Gu kid, don't be polite to this old fox, Su Weiniang smiled and echoed from the side. The Hu family is one of the richest families in Qianshui City. Many shops, restaurants, casinos, and auction houses in Qianshui City are all the property of the Hu family. They have so much money that they can't spend it all in several lifetimes. If you have any treasure you want, or want to go to the casino to have fun, just tell him and rip off this rich man. Get out of here, you old man who owes money. Gu Cheng glared at his old friend fiercely, then smiled at Gu Cheng, tacitly agreeing with what he had just said. The treasure you want. Gu Cheng's eyes moved slightly when he heard this, and he bowed to the elegant man and said, Sir Hu, I do have a treasure, and I would like to ask you to help me find it. Oh. You can tell me. Gu Cheng waved his hand, his tone quite arrogant. That's a very old Gu Cheng. It said that it appeared in an auction house in Qianshui City not long ago. Gu Cheng nodded and added. The name of the Gu Cheng is, Deadwood Dragon Song. Deadwood Dragon Song. Hearing this, the other four people in the courtyard suddenly looked strange, and looked at Gu Cheng with strange eyes. Gu Cheng frowned slightly and was about to ask. Oh, I didn't realize that you are also into this. Su Weiniang looked Gu Cheng up and down, his expression immediately became serious, and he warned him earnestly. But, Gu boy, beauty is a knife that scrapes bones. You must not delay your cultivation because of indulging in women. Okay, you old thing, stop worrying about it. It is normal for a genius like Gu Shaoxia to be a little romantic at a young age. Gu Cheng said to his old friend and bowed to Gu Cheng. Gu Shaoxia, please rest assured. Within a month, Hu will present the withered tree dragon roar with both hands. After saying that, the three of them turned and left, leaving someone standing there with a confused face. Strange, did they misunderstand something? How is this withered tree dragon roar related to indulging in women? Gu Cheng was confused and turned to look at the one-armed swordsman beside him. Chao Jianxin understood instantly, pondered for a moment, and explained softly. Brother Gu, do you still remember the Miss Tianyin from Chunfeng Tower that I mentioned to you before? Is it the courtesan who is proficient in music? Gu Cheng frowned slightly. Why? Is there any connection between her and this withered wood dragon sound harp? Of course there is a connection. Chao Jianxin nodded and continued. It is said that this ancient harp, withered wood dragon sound, is the ancestral item of Miss Tianyin. It is a pity that her family fell into poverty later, and she was forced to sell herself, and the ancient harp disappeared. Miss Tianyin has been committed to recovering this ancient harp, and she once issued a reward for this. Whoever can bring back the withered wood dragon sound for her can become her lover and spend a good night with her. After saying that, Chao Jianxin glanced at Gu Cheng quietly, and smiled secretly in his heart. If he didn't know that the other party was really a master of zither art and it was normal for him to like collecting famous zither, he would probably have preconceived ideas. Gu Cheng was speechless. Well, no wonder their expressions were so strange just now. It turned out that they thought he was an old pervert who wanted to please the courtesan. But let's talk about it. If this deadwood dragon chant is really an heirloom of Miss Tianyin, doesn't that mean that the ancestor of the courtesan once gave birth to a great master of refining spirits? 3 days later, Qianshui Town Demon Division Office, Canteen. Gu Cheng sat alone in a corner seat, quietly enjoying the food. The benefits of the Demon Suppression Division have always been good. When he was in the Chang'an County branch, he could eat for free. It was even more exaggerated when he arrived at the headquarters in Qianshui City. Not only can they cook fish and meat, but occasionally there will be a limited supply of medicinal meals specially prepared for warriors. It was already afternoon, and there were not many people in the canteen. Most of them gathered in 2s and 3s, whispering about the recent major events in the Demon Suppression Division. While enjoying the medicinal meal, Gu Cheng listened attentively and got a lot of gossip. Hey, do you think that the Blood Knife sect is going to revive again? A black-shirt lieutenant lowered his voice and whispered to his colleagues at the same table. Why are all the tasks on the task board of the Foreign Affairs Hall related to the investigation of the evil cultivators of the Blood Knife sect recently? Hey, isn't this obvious? The evil method of the Blood Blade sect is so special that as long as you are willing to kill people and suck their blood, you can quickly become stronger. For those martial artists without background, few people can resist such temptation. A bearded lieutenant echoed, But don't worry, the Blood Blade sect has been in decline since the death of the former leader of the spiritual sea realm. Now it is nothing more than a few annoying cockroaches. The number one enemy of our Demon Suppression Division is still the Dragon Palace of Qianshui River. Hearing this, several other black-shirt lieutenants nodded frequently to show their agreement. Yes, those damned worms have become restless again recently. I heard that a few days ago, several dragons of the Xiantian realm suddenly appeared in Baihe County. They made clouds and rain, stirred up storms, and tried to flood the county. Fortunately, the Demon Suppression Division was well prepared for this and secretly dispatched General Su to guard here and drive away those dragons in time, otherwise Baihe County would have become a swamp long ago. You said, these dragons suddenly attacked Baihe County. Could it be that they were seeking revenge for the dragon turtle 2 days ago? Gu Cheng's chewing suddenly stopped, because they didn't dare to go wild in Qianshui City, they chose to vent their anger on the nearby civilians. These beasts are really getting more and more suicidal. Gu Cheng's eyes flashed with a hint of coldness, and he became more and more curious about the taste of dragon meat. Chapter 99. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Just as Gu Cheng was thinking secretly, on the other side, the conversation between the black-shirt lieutenants continued. I heard that the dragon turtle's defense is extremely strong, and even many masters of the innate realm can't do anything to it. How come it was suddenly killed by a newcomer, this time? That the bearded lieutenant looked puzzled. Who is the newcomer? Is he the heir of Mingjian Villa? Or a monk of Puzhou Temple? I heard from the people in the Foreign Affairs Hall that the newcomer seems to have the surname Gu. As for his background, I asked his teammates who were traveling with him before, and they kept silent. So low-key. I guess that young man Gu should be a genius secretly cultivated by a big force, right? Hearing this, the lieutenants at the same table nodded one after another. In their impressions, such a powerful dark horse could never be an amateur from a grassroots background, but then, a voice of opposition came from the next table. I say, what kind of backward news are you guys talking about? A tall and strong lieutenant put down his chopsticks and looked at the people at the next table with disdain. Didn't you hear what the brothers in the pharmacy said? The dragon turtle was severely injured by the thunder magic more than half a month ago, and its strength was greatly reduced. I'm afraid it couldn't even move at that time, so that kid surnamed Gu took advantage of it. He seems to have made great contributions, but in fact, he is just a lucky guy who got the credit for nothing. The black-shirt lieutenants at the next table were immediately in an uproar. So, that kid is really lucky. That's right, I can do it too. Alas, luck is also a part of strength, you can't deny it. The lieutenants were talking about it, and the sour taste in their words was so bad that they probably didn't need to dip dumplings in vinegar. Gu Cheng listened carefully and couldn't help but smile, although he did get a big bargain this time, but because he was too low-key these days, Fang Su and others did not reveal the information of his savior, and as a result, the gossip became more and more outrageous. Now, in the eyes of his colleagues, Gu Cheng has almost become Ding Zhen from another world. At a glance, it was pure dog shit luck. Just as Gu Cheng was secretly complaining in his heart, Wang Lin, the personal guard of General Su, strode into the cafeteria. He looked around, and when he found Gu Cheng, his eyes suddenly lit up and he hurried over. Master Gu. I finally found you. Wang Lin's smile was humble and flattering. He bowed slightly to Gu Cheng and said respectfully. The final test results have been approved. You are ranked first in this test with an absolute advantage. Now the top 5 newcomers are waiting to receive the reward in the Ministry of Internal Affairs. I heard that Venerable Ling Hai will personally present the award. You should go with me. Well, I know. Gu Cheng nodded slightly, feeling quite excited. After waiting for so many days, it's finally the day to receive the reward. He no longer hesitated, put all the half-eaten food on the table into the storage bag, and then left with Wang Lin. Looking at the backs of the two people going away, the expressions of several black-shirt lieutenants sitting nearby suddenly became strange. Master Gu. Chief. Wait. Could he be the lucky guy? But when they read this, all the lieutenants took a deep breath, especially the tall and strong lieutenant who broke the news first. His face turned pale with fear. Oh no. He was sitting nearby just now, he must have heard our private discussion. Will he bear a grudge against me for gossiping so much and secretly make things difficult for me in the future? Let's not talk about how those passers-by were worried. Gu Cheng came to the Ministry of Internal Affairs under the leadership of Wang Lin and walked into a spacious room. The decoration in the room was quite exquisite, and a circle of mahogany armchairs were placed around the center of the hall, like a place specially used for meetings. At this time, there were already 4 people waiting in the room. They sat down in the 4 directions of the room in order of ranking, and the seat for the leader was just vacant. With the arrival of Gu Cheng, the chief, several vague glances suddenly fell on him. Gu Cheng was unmoved by this and walked straight to the chief's seat and sat down. Then he looked around and quietly looked at several other colleagues. The 5th place was a handsome little monk with scars on his bald head. If nothing unexpected happened, he should be a martial monk from Puzhou Temple. Just the little monk was too thin, and looked so fragile that he would fall down if touched. After feeling Gu Cheng's gaze, he nodded in a friendly manner, and his attitude was quite polite. I heard that the unique skill of Puzhou Temple, Vajra glazed body, is known as the best body refining skill in Tianshui County, but looking at the skinny appearance of this little monk, he doesn't look like a normal body refining cultivator at all. Gu Cheng nodded in return and turned to look at another person. The 4th place was a stern young man with long silver-white hair. The arrogance revealed between his eyebrows was exactly the same as Chen Shuejiao before. Obviously, this silver-haired young man was also a descendant from Mingjian Villa. At this time, he was looking at Gu Cheng with a smile, and his face was quite unfriendly, as if he had a lot of opinions about Gu Cheng, the unworthy chief. The 3rd place was a black-faced man with a firm expression. He was about 30 years old. Although he was not good-looking, his eyes were surprisingly bright. He was obviously a cultivator with a strong mind. He just looked up and glanced at Gu Cheng's arrival, and then stopped paying attention to him, with a look of disdain and arrogance. The last person was a short-haired woman with fair skin, beautiful appearance and heroic spirit. At this time, she was sitting on a chair with her eyes closed, and her internal chi was running, driving the black shirt on her body to move without wind. Are you practicing at this time? Gu Cheng couldn't help but look sideways. The other party's hard-working posture reminded him of those female academic masters who took a booklet to memorize words while waiting for the bus. Not only that, Gu Cheng also sensed a familiar majestic aura from the short-haired woman, like the roar of a blue dragon. It was the famous top-level technique in the Demon Suppression Division, Blue Dragon 100 Refining. Obviously, this female academic bully is not only very hard-working, but also one of the strongest talents in cultivation. Counting Gu Cheng, the chief, the 5 men and women in the room are the 5 strongest newcomers selected by the Demon Suppression Division this year. They are also the best young talents in Tianshui County. Among these 5 people, except for me and the short-haired woman, the other 3 are the descendants of other major forces. Gu Cheng sat on the mahogany chair, thinking silently in his heart. First-class forces such as Mingjian Villa and Puzhou Temple have been friendly with the Demon Suppression Division for generations. Although they survived the previous Great Purge, they were also scared by the domineering and bloody style of the Demon Suppression Division. In order to show their loyalty to the big brother of the Demon Suppression Division, they took the initiative to send their young talents over. On the surface, they came to deepen the relationship between the two sides and take advantage of the Demon Suppression Division. In reality, there was also a bit of the role of the prince came to Beijing as a hostage. At this time, the wooden door of the room was pushed open again. A female lieutenant wearing a golden crown and a black shirt walked in quickly and stood in the center of the room. On her shoulder, there was a snow-white bird, with a pair of black bird eyes that were very smart and looked quite cute. Seeing the arrival of one person and one bird, the other 4 people in the room stood up together, clasped their fists and saluted. and said respectfully, "Greetings to the venerable spirit bird." Chapter 100. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Spirit bird venerable. Gu Cheng's expression slightly changed, and he stood up and saluted with everyone else. He quietly looked at the female lieutenant, and then fixed his eyes on the snow-white bird. "No need to be polite, sit down first." A kind and gentle female voice came from the bird's mouth. It stood on the shoulder of the female lieutenant, looked around, and swept its eyes over the 5 newcomers one by one. Seeing Gu Cheng's surprised look, he couldn't help but smile and explained softly. "Recently, the dragons in Tianshui River have not been very honest. I have to guard them personally and can't get away at all, therefore, this year I can only temporarily send a demon servant to come over and remotely award you newcomers." Demon servant? Is there such a use for demon servants? Gu Cheng blinked his eyes and thought that this method of refining the soul is really flourishing. With all kinds of weird abilities, the Demon Suppression Division has always been efficient. Venerable Lin Ke is busy with all kinds of things every day, so he naturally won't give a long and boring speech like some leaders who are not good at dealing with their fathers. She simply said a few polite words of congratulations to the 5 people, and then flapped her wings. The captain of the bird rack immediately understood and clapped his hands gently. 5 beautiful maids carrying trays came in one after another and placed the trays on the small table next to Gu Cheng and others. Gu Cheng looked down and found that there were 4 things in the tray: a black armory secret order, a gilded hollow wolf pattern hair crown, a waist badge with a golden animal head, and a thumb-sized white jade porcelain bottle. According to the rules set before, each of the top 50 newcomers in this assessment will be rewarded with a secret order of the armory. In addition, in view of the outstanding performance of the 5 of you this time, each of you will be promoted 3 levels, awarded a golden crown, and promoted to a gold medal lieutenant. The eyes of the venerable Lin Ke swept through everyone one by one, and said lightly, "As for the mysterious reward of the top 5 in this assessment, it is a 3rd-grade longevity pill. The first use can extend life by 50 years. The Demon Suppression Department will never treat its own people badly. As long as you do your best to slay demons in the future and obey the arrangements of the government, whether it is a technique, a magic weapon, or other natural treasures that can extend life, none of them are a problem. Thank you for the reward, venerable." The little monk, the silver-haired young man, and the black-faced man all saluted with fists, and their tone was quite respectful. Gu Cheng sat silently on the side, but he also heard the meaning of the words of the venerable Lin Ke. In this world, elixirs and natural treasures that can prolong life are extremely precious. As the official power of the Great Yan Dynasty, the Demon Suppression Division is not only wealthy, but also has almost monopolized all the recipes of longevity pills. Therefore, even first-class forces like Mingjian Villa and Puzhou Temple find it extremely difficult to get elixirs that can prolong life, and can only rely on the Demon Suppression Division. This time, they sent their young talents to the Demon Suppression Division, in addition to working for their eldest brother to show their loyalty. At the same time, it is also to exchange for precious longevity pills to extend the lives of the old men in the family and sect. This unwritten exchange of interests has been going on for many years, and it can be regarded as a tacit understanding between the Demon Suppression Division and other major forces. Besides, Gu Cheng, the spirit bird venerable, looked at the black-shirt young man at the head and said softly, "The innate dragon turtle you killed is extremely special. Its blood is the best material for refining longevity pills. In order to commend your achievements, the Demon Suppression Division will also reward you with 3 extra longevity pills. You can go to the pharmacy to claim the reward in 3 months." Hearing this, the other 4 people all looked at Gu Cheng, with different expressions on their faces. The short-haired woman and the little monk were relatively restrained, just a little envious, but the silver-haired young man and the black-faced man were jealous without disguising. "Thank you, venerable." Gu Cheng looked straight ahead and bowed to the little white bird. This longevity pill was naturally very useless to him, but in the eyes of other major forces and families, it was a hard currency that was more valuable than the demon core. Even if he didn't need it himself, it would be a good choice to exchange it with others for the cultivation resources he needed in the future. After the awards were presented, the spirit bird venerable said a few more words of encouragement to the 5 people, then it flapped its wings and flew lightly to the head of the short-haired woman, and ordered the others Okay, Gu Cheng and Tang Ling, you stay, the rest of you can go out first. Yes, sir, thought the silver-haired young man, the little monk, and the black-faced man hurriedly stood up and saluted, and left with the female captain of the bird rack, and quietly closed the door. In the spacious room, there were only 2 people and 1 bird left. The spirit bird Venerable stood on Tang Lingyu's head. Quietly Jing looked at the black-shirted young man, with a pair of lively bird eyes flashing with an inexplicable brilliance. Even though the original body of this powerful person in the spirit sea realm was not present, but her demon servant, who was far superior to the control, still made Gu Cheng feel a little pressure. After staring for a while, the little white bird nodded in a very human way and praised. Refining the spirit, refining the body, and refining the chi, 3 methods are practiced together. Oh, I didn't expect that Changle County is really a place of outstanding people and beautiful scenery. In just a few decades, there is actually another peerless genius comparable to Master Ji. That the Venerable Lin Ke raised his eyes and stared at Gu Cheng, his eyes deep. Boy, I see the fluctuations of chi and blood in your body, which contain the breath of the blue dragon. I guess you must have practiced the fragments of Blue Dragon 100 refinements. You were promoted from the branch to the headquarters this time. I'm afraid it's not for the subsequent exercises. Hearing this, Tang Lingyu, who was acting as a temporary bird stand, couldn't help but look sideways and looked at Gu Cheng with curiosity. Gu Cheng opened his mouth and was about to explain. The spirit bird Venerable flapped his wings and said nonchalantly, "Don't worry, I know what you were worried about before, but you can rest assured that the Demon Suppression Department will not ask about your personal problems. In fact, in the past thousands of years, the great Yen dynasty has produced many martial arts geniuses. Among them, there are many lucky ones who have other adventures and have soared to the sky, so the Demon Suppression Department has long been accustomed to it. For cases like you who are different from ordinary people, as long as you use your abilities in the right way of slaying demons and eliminating demons, the Demon Suppression Department will never have too many restrictions." The little white bird nodded to Gu Cheng, with a very kind tone. "What's more, you can get the recognition of the descendants of the Su family and be granted the Thunder method by them, which is enough to prove your character." The identity of the descendants of the Su family actually has this effect? The Su family's strict selection must be the right way. Gu Cheng secretly complained in his heart, and at the same time he was slightly relieved. According to what this powerful person in the spirit sea realm said, the Demon Suppression Division seems to be much more open-minded than he had imagined before. Just don't jump out of the situation and use your magic skills, and focus on slaying demons, no matter how many little secrets you have or how fast your strength grows. The top leaders of the Demon Suppression Division will not ask about it. After pacifying Gu Cheng, Venerable Lin Ke changed the topic and went straight to the point. "Gu Cheng, Tang Lingyu, the 2 of you can be regarded as the most talented young talents in the Demon Suppression Division of Tianshui County in the past 5 years. In addition to recruiting talents from other forces, the Demon Suppression Division has never given up the training of its own direct line. For this reason, Lord Ji specially secured an opportunity for the 2 of you to go to the Demon Suppression Division to inherit the secret realm.